there is this belief, and it's been sold to us on so many levels, that if we drink, that will help and reduce our stress. You go to work, and the way that you unwind after work is to have a drink, and that'll relax you, that'll take your mind off things, and that'll fix everything. And I know in my experience, that is not true. Can you share a little bit about alcohol and how it's not really a healthy tool to use for de-stressing?
And even looking back at my own life, let's say I had a stressful day and I came home and I drank a few glasses of wine or whatever, I would wake up with so much more stress the next day. Whatever I was stressed about didn't go away, and now I didn't feel my best. Now I felt that regret. It's like my stress was compounded the next day, not relieved. And I like to share with people, drinking is not just a 20-minute experience, it's a 48-hour experience. And we're so good at only seeing the very first part and not really recognizing, nope, this is the whole effect of alcohol. And so alcohol is a depressant. It will slow our central nervous system down and our brain down. And the way that I've been told and understood this from incredible brain scientists is that alcohol is actually slowly killing brain cells and slowing them down in that sense. Like the buzz we feel when we're drinking is literally the feeling of our brain cells slowly turning off, which is actually not that enticing when you think about it. But it does slow our system down, and our body has a way to counteract that so that it doesn't just put us to sleep or kill us or something like that. And so our stimulant system turns on after we drink alcohol, and our body releases stimulants in response to the alcohol depressant. We release cortisol, adrenaline, dynorphin. Dynorphin's like the opposite of endorphins. It actually makes us feel really low and sad. They found that people who commit suicide often have a high level of dynorphin in their brain. And alcohol is releasing that every single time you drink. So that Monday morning feeling I had, I thought it was me. I thought it was all me. I thought there's something wrong with me. And it was literally the effect of alcohol, because I'd always considered myself a fairly optimistic person. And here for me to be so glum just didn't seem normal. It was the effect of alcohol. So as these stress hormones get circulated in your body and brain, if you just have one drink, let's say, and carry on with your day, 2 hours later, 1 hour later, you'll feel a little wired, a little weird, a little maybe exhausted. It just kind of feels off. But most people don't just have the one drink and carry on with their day. They drink a few drinks that night and then go to sleep. And so sometimes when you drink a little too much, you'll notice those stress hormones coursing in your body when you wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. with a crisp wake-up call. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't go back to sleep. How many drinks did I have? It's just so hard to go back to sleep. And that stress and anxiety and kind of self-loathing is really at the expense of those stress hormones. We also wake up more anxiety the next day, definitely. After the kind of sedative effect of alcohol is worn off, that's what we're left with. So ethanol usually takes a matter of 24 to 48 to how many hours, depending on kind of what your age is. Younger people can metabolize it faster, but the stress hormones last much longer. They can last anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks in our bodies. So the thing that I recognize now is that when I didn't drink during the week, but I drank every weekend, I was always dealing with those stress hormones in my body during the week. And then I would drink and numb them for just a quick minute and then bring them back with an onslaught. When I took a break from alcohol, I really gave my chance for my body and my brain to rebalance. And I just recognized how much less anxiety and stress I felt when those stress hormones weren't being coursed through my body. Alcohol also changes our response to dopamine. So it does elicit dopamine when we drink it. And that's really similar to cocaine or heroin. Like this is like a drug that's stimulating our pleasure center in an unhealthy way, because it creates this artificial spike of dopamine in our brain, but then it crashes. And it crashes so low, and also exposure to alcohol, our receptors that are receiving dopamine in our brain actually retract. And so we're not as receptive to dopamine naturally anymore. So drinkers have less ability to feel happiness from being with a child or walking in the woods or having an ice cream or just these really simple pleasures in life. And I can tell you, I felt that way. Like the highlight of my week was happy hour, and everything else I kind of felt apathetic about. And so when you take a break from alcohol, not only are those stress hormones going to get out of your system and you'll feel naturally a lot more calm, your dopamine levels will come back to normal, as will your serotonin and GABA levels, which alcohol also affects and lowers. So by the time I was 4 weeks alcohol free, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I was like singing with the birds, like looking at trees and clouds. I was so happy. And really, that's why I called my brand, my company, my book Euphoric, because it was the complete opposite of what I thought a break from alcohol would be. I thought it would be maybe a little depressing or a little sad that I couldn't drink. It was totally the opposite. I was so high on life. And I really believe that when you start feeling your emotions instead of numbing them with alcohol, you kind of recognize, well, why am I stressed? Is there something in my job that's missing? Am I not as fulfilled because I'm not working on what I'm passionate about? Do I have a lack of boundaries around something? Do I need help with more housework around the house? Like, these emotions are coming up for us to solve them, not for us to numb them. And we could numb them forever and be kind of like on a hamster wheel and never get to at the root of our problems or issues. Or we can let them come up and, yes, feel them. That grows our resilience over time.